All right, let's see. Let's see. I think the mic is working. Is the mic working? Let's check. Let's check and see. It should be working. Everything should be a okay as far as the sound is concerned. Let me turn the volume up a little bit more. I don't know if you guys can hear me. I don't know if anyone's in my live yet. We'll wait a little bit. Hmm. I got one viewer. I'm a star man. Happy Thursday, everyone. Happy Thursday. It's Frank Tika's dropping knowledge. Frank Tika's dropping knowledge. Happy Thursday. Coming at you once again. A little bit of a message, a little bit of knowledge. Hoping everyone's having a fantastic day. One more day and the weekends. I've kind of been chilling today. I didn't have too much work to do because I kind of like worked extra so that I can have less hours these days. So, today and tomorrow I'm going to have a lot more time just to put out content. So here we are. Hey, what's up, Machete? Nice to see you, man. Yeah, it's Papa time, man. Papa's time. First in, last out. That's right, Machete. Nice to see you, man. Nice to see you, bro. Yeah, so talking papas. We're talking papas, bro. Talking papas on a Thursday. Thursday. I'm watching the game right now. Canada, Qatar. I've heard people say, what is it? Cater or something like that instead of Qatar. I just say Qatar. I don't know. If I'm wrong, I'm wrong. Fuck it. Cutter, yeah, Cutter. I've heard people say Cutter, especially like those government people when they don't say Qatar, they say Cutter. I don't get it. It's Qatar to me. So right now, Qatar is playing Canada. It's 1-0. Canada's winning. It's kind of a boring game, to be honest with you guys. So yeah, talking papas on a Thursday. Frank Tica's dropping knowledge, talking papas live this Thursday. It's Thumpin' Thursday, man. We're gonna talk a little bit about setting boundaries. You gotta set boundaries sometimes. Some people live life and walk around life like they're bumper cars. You know, just slamming into anything and everyone and everything. What's up? 6 o'clock game time for me. All right, cool. Which one's that one, bro? I mean, right now, these games, like the games earlier today, they've been okay. Um, but the better ones have already passed. Hey, what's up, Katie Frizzle? Nice to see you. Yeah, we're gonna talk about setting boundaries. If anybody wants to jump on and talk about it with me, the link's there. Sometimes you gotta set boundaries. Sometimes you do. But there's ways of going about it that I think also matter. And it really also matters, like, what it is that we're talking about, right? As far as when we're talking about setting boundaries. Hey, the Hangman Stranger, what's up, man? Good afternoon, Tikas in chat. No love for the low life trolls. That's right. That's right. Mexico versus Korea. Okay, that's gonna be good, bro. That's gonna be good because Korea's a pretty good team. I don't know if they won their last one though. I'd be lying if I said that. I know. I think they tied up, didn't they, or they won? I think they won. I'm not. I don't remember. I know Mexico won. That's right, Hangman, Frizz, Machete. Yeah, man. That's right, Machete. That's right, Machete. I said Machete. like when Joker said Del Rio. He didn't roll his R on that one. Hey, shout out to ET, man. Shout out to Exposed Tube, the Exposed Tube Revolution, to the ladies of Exposed Tube. Battle boxes, man. It's gonna go down. It's gonna go down. It's gonna get, it's gonna get popping, and we already know that there's already, I mean, People try to resist shit until it's like irresistible, and then they try to copy it. So but it doesn't work. ET's innovating, man. And that's why we do, man. We innovate. That's right, machete. But anyway, setting boundaries. I think setting boundaries is something very, very important in life. Sometimes you don't have to say anything. Like you don't have to tell someone that you've set a boundary. There's just certain things that you won't talk about with certain people. There's certain things that you won't do with certain people. Well, those are boundaries. And I think that boundaries, like the boundaries that we set, go hand in hand with our standards, like with our personal standards. People will try to, place their expectations on you. Don't let that shit. Don't fuck that. People want to put on their expectations over you, like, oh, but you're supposed to this. Aren't you supposed to say this? And I thought you said this. No, man, it's not what you think. No. Who cares what you think? Okay, Qatar just scored a goal, so it's 2-1. It's still the first half, so they got a chance. You know, let's see. Let's see. Let me catch up here. At work listening. All right, the Hangman. Thanks so much for joining, bro. And shout out to the Hangman. Go check out his channel. Go check out his channel. And he's doing, you know, the Lord's work out there in the desert. So God bless you, man. Stay strong, stay fit, bro. Stay hydrated, stay in the shade, man. That desert heat is no joke. Let's see, Machete, what you put here, man. Shout out to all the wrenches setting boundaries. Hey, man, that's part of setting boundaries. And I'm glad that you brought it up. I mean, sometimes timing people out and putting a barrier is obviously it's a boundary. You're setting a standard, like certain things you're not going to allow on your channel, plain and simple. Chewy Louis Frank Papas. Hey man, listen. Oh, I guess he was offside. Okay, so it's still 2-0. Look, man, I talk Papas, I think everybody talks Papas. Sometimes we just, elaborate. Like that fool says we put a lot of tapatio on our stories, whatever. But you gotta, man, you gotta live in the truth, man. You gotta live in the truth. Sometimes, I say talk papas ironically, obviously sarcastically. We kind of took that phrase from that fool because that's what he loves to say. Oh, they're over there talking papas. No, bitch. How can it be papas if it's your own words? As a matter of fact, I just dropped the video earlier before I came on the live. Please check it out if you haven't already done so. Please go hit the like. Please, subscribe if you haven't already subscribed. I really appreciate all your support. Hey, what's up, Moni? How's it going? So yeah, I had time today. I shaved my head. My home made haircut. Saludos to you too, bro. But yeah, you have to set boundaries, and like Machete said, yeah, timing motherfuckers out is part of those boundaries that we set. No, and every channel is going to be different. I know I'm blocked from a lot of these trolls channels. Like I can try to leave a comment and no one will see it. So like, what's the point? You know what I mean? It's like I'm not even going to go in there. That's the point. That there's no conversation to be had. But the point is that those are the boundaries that you set. Like we set boundaries based on our standards. Okay. Oh, here we go. Here we go. We're starting to see. Mock me. Let's see. You shouldn't block people just because they don't agree with you. You're starting to act like Dubs and Gun. Who said I block them? There's a difference between blocking and timing out, bro. And I'm gonna explain. Okay. I'm glad you asked that question. If this is a righteous question, I'm gonna give you a righteous answer. Okay. You want a righteous answer to that? Let me explain. If I time you out, you're gonna be able to come back tomorrow and try again. If you get disrespectful, that's not the same as what Dubs and Gunner do. Dubs and Gunner block people that are asking them just righteous questions. Like you just asked me a righteous question right here. I don't know if you're trolling me. I don't know if you hate me. I don't know who you are, bro. I don't give a fuck. But the way you asked it, you gave me an opportunity to answer. And I can do that. I don't have to block you. I don't have to time you out. Not at all. You haven't gotten disrespectful. But once you get disrespectful, once you talk about the women in the chat and it becomes like a threatening thing and a trolling thing, I don't need to see it. I don't need you to allow you to continue participating within the chat. If you want to get it off, go get it off somewhere else. If you want to come back tomorrow and act like a gentleman, you're going to be let on because you'll be timed out until tomorrow. That's what it is. So I'm not blocking you. Now, there are people that have me blocked, and I've also blocked them. There's specific people. But that's because there's no conversation going on between us. Okay, there is a legitimate issue with these people. Why would I want them to? Why would they contact me? Why would I contact them? It's like, and it's reciprocal. They have me blocked, so it doesn't make any sense for me to just give access to people that already have me blocked. Like, okay, why would I give you access if you know? It seems like you don't want anything to do with me. You set that boundary. See, we're talking about boundaries, right? We're talking about boundaries. You see how everything, hey, this is thumping Thursday, man. Talking about setting boundaries, and that's exactly what we're talking about. A lot of people want it both ways. They want to block, but then they don't want to be blocked. It's like, come on, you can't have it both ways. Like you're over here challenging me and my beliefs. Like you shouldn't be blocking people because of this. Now you're acting like this and that. Wait a minute, but your team has me blocked. So what are you talking about? It'd be different if your team didn't have me blocked, but your team has me blocked. So talk to them, bro. And you know what? And it's not even that I go in there to troll because I don't do that. I go in there with my profile. If I ever go in there, I go in there with my profile and I leave a comment with my profile. I don't need to troll you. That's the difference between you guys and me. You guys and us. And we don't need to troll you. We use our users and we get at you with our users. Now, if there are people that have more than one or two users and I don't know anything about that, I don't know. You know? But all I can tell you is me personally, I don't get down like that because I prefer, and I'm always gonna say this, dealing with respect. And sometimes you set boundaries out of respect. That's right, Kelly Big Dog. I'm gonna start blocking because my shit being restricted. That's what I'm talking about. See, people go out of their way. Yesterday we were talking about Way Out Wednesday, right? Look at what Moni put. I'm start blocking because my shit be being restricted. Yeah, so there are people that will call and SWAT, right? They'll SWAT who they're going at it with, and they'll get upset because they're being like timed out in the chat. It's like make it make sense, bro. Like if you're going out of your way to get somebody swatted, don't come complain to me when I time you out. Like, it doesn't make sense to me. Like you guys are going out of your way to try to dox people or to try to get their shit blocked. Shout out to Park. I mean, they removed her user and she's not a content creator. She's just a profile, a person that follows the explosive movement. And you guys went, whoever it was, I don't know which camp it was. I kind of do. I think it might have been Skittles. Went so far as to get her account blocked. So, when we see those type of actions, that's when like, wait a minute, what part of the game is that, man? That's weak shit. That's weak. So don't try to make it comparable. It's not comparable. What they do when they block permanently. What I do and what explosive movement does is we time you out once you get disrespectful. Why do I want to see your bullshit right there or your fucking derogatory, racist, sexist statements, your threats, all of that shit? I don't want to see it. So I'm gonna remove it. If you can't get at me with respect, why do I want to see your disrespect? Doesn't make sense, bro. That's like if you have a store and some drunk comes and vomits in front of in front of your door of your store. You're gonna wash that shit out. You're not gonna leave that fucking vomit there. No, because you're gonna have people walking in and out. Well, I have people coming into my chat. I have women that come into my chat. I have people, I don't know who. A lot of people I don't even know who comes in and watches. But to see all that derogatory shit, I'm not gonna allow it. That's why my moderators do what they do. They'll time you out. Okay, but that's a big difference to blocking. And all it is, man, once you start getting disrespectful, we don't need to see that shit straight up. We don't need to see you threatening women. We don't need to see you talking about we're gonna dox you, we're gonna do this. Like, what kind of shit is that? It's not even funny. It's not like, even if it was funny, I'd leave it there. Straight up. Like, sometimes you guys put some funny shit, I'll read it. But you guys get sick, man. You guys are real sickos, and that's the problem. You guys are depraved. You guys, like, your mind goes to the depravity in 2 seconds. That's why we have to set boundaries. It's Thumping Thursday. See how it all correlates? Come on now. Let's see. Patron, what did you comment? Muckney, you gotta get nah. Oh, okay. I'm talking about TikTok. I know. What's up? Look at this. But you're over here listening. At least I'm out here. I put my face out here. I put my voice out here, bro. Give a fuck what you think. Straight up. But see, that's what I'm saying. Look, I'll put that comment up there. Now, if you continue being disrespectful, well, I don't even know if you've already gotten timed out. I'm not checking. But see, why would I want to leave that up there? Why would I want to see that? Why? Like, what is the point of having someone like this all up in the mix, just dropping all this bullshit? We're gonna time you out. You gave the perfect example of what it is and why it is that we set up boundaries. I'm gonna set up boundaries, bitch. And you gotta set up boundaries. You have to set up boundaries in life, at the workplace. You have to let people know when shit bothers you. Like, don't call me out of my name. Some people feel real comfortable about calling people out of their name. Like gordita, hey, mira moreno, mira esto. Like, wait, calm down, fool. Like, how are you just gonna, like, give me a nickname out of the blue? Like, I don't get down with you like that. You shit. Sometimes you gotta fucking set up boundaries, because if not, you're gonna have more. Look, people will probably put a nickname on you, especially those that don't like you, and you might not ever find out, or you might find out if you hear it through the grapevine, right? Whatever it is that they're calling you behind your back. Okay, but up front, I'm gonna let people know, they don't call me this, man. Sometimes you gotta put a boundary and you gotta put a stop to it, because that's a standard. No, that's a standard of how you get with other people. Like, I'm not gonna do that to you. You don't do it to me, right? The golden rule. The golden rule. That's right, Cali Big Dog. That's right. I see you, boy. That's right. Cali Big Dog is here. Oh, look, here's another comment. Just letting you know, I'll be jumping on tonight on the battle box to embarrass you, or you could let me jump on now. Battle boxes is Friday, not tonight. Let's do it there. Call me out there. Jump on the battle boxes and do it there. That'll give you another 24 hours to fucking improvise. Do it on the battle boxes. Hey, shout out to ET battle boxes. That's gonna be tomorrow. We'll do it tomorrow, man. Jump on tomorrow and we can set that up. Kelly Big Dog, we go way back. You better not even think of blocking me. Just let me do me. You know. Hey, Machete, look, you've been respectful to me, bro. I appreciate your support. That's all I can say. You know, the only reason why I bring up these fools is because they bring themselves up. Like, they come into the chat. I would rather not talk about them. Like, I could do this topic without even mentioning them, but they bring up good material to associate to the topic. Like, every topic that I put out there and they interrupt, we can associate it to that topic. You know? And that's what upsets them. Now, it's not my fault that I come prepared to this shit. But anyways, this is the exact reason why you have to set up boundaries. And it's based on standards. Like, you have to let people know And see, I don't want to confuse this with like the respect thing. It has more to do with just how we're going to coexist. We have to set boundaries. Like those boundaries exist, like with your babies too. Like when you start telling them no, like you no 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 like the word you most tell your baby is going to be no. Like when they start walking around and they're able to pay attention a little bit, they know your voice, whatever. No is going to be the word that you're going to use the most when you're raising a child. When they're little toddlers growing up, starting to talk, whatever. Because they'll try to put things in their mouth, they'll try to climb up something, So from early on, you set up boundaries. But, as parents, we have to be very careful of what we set up boundaries for and where we violate boundaries. One thing that I've always said, and I'm going to say it again, I don't care because that's my fucking life. But I just want to put out there to you parents, don't force your kids to say hi, to sit on someone's lap. This is your uncle, this is your aunt, this is your grandma, and your child is like, no. No, I don't want to say hi. I don't want to shake their hand. I don't want to fucking sit on their lap. I don't want to fucking hug them. I don't want none of that. I'm not going to go in the back seat. No, no. If your child starts doing that, respect it. Because sometimes parents don't respect when the child feels a certain way about people. Like you have to let them exercise their also the way that they see things. That how they're interpreting life. You have to also give them space and give them room to develop those boundaries as well. You have to respect children's boundaries. Now, like you can play like the tickle game, whatever, but even that, like how you like if you're always like tickling someone that doesn't want to be tickled, you know what I mean? I mean, seriously, sometimes it gets aggravating. And maybe the person will be like, "Hey, stop!" I don't like. But I'm just tickling you. I'm just tickling you. Like, bitch, they told you no. That's a fucking boundary. Like, don't touch me if I don't want to be touched. Now you have to understand that you need to talk about these things because sometimes people come from cultures or come from homes where everyone's fucking touchy feely and it don't mean shit. It's just how they fucking get down. I mean, you go to countries in Europe and the men will fucking kiss each other when they say hi to each other. It's a way of being. It's a way of life. Some people have those customs and you have to be aware of those. But I'm talking about like, the weird shit. You got to be careful, like how much you pressure your child to talk to your fucking friend from work or to accept your new girlfriend or your new boyfriend. Like your kid does not have to accept them. And that person needs to be able to prove themselves worthy of their affection, of their attention, because if not, like you can't really force a child to love someone or to see someone as more than that's just my mom's boyfriend or that's just my dad's girlfriend. You can't force that type of shit. So there are boundaries that are unspoken that we shouldn't be violating. And it starts with the kids. That's where it begins. Because if what you're telling your child is like, wait a minute, if there's an authority figure, your boundaries don't mean shit. If an authority figure comes and tells you, okay, no, wait a minute, you have to let yourself be taken advantage of. Now, I'm telling you that it's okay because I'm violating that boundary that you're trying to set up. We got to think about how we raise our kids. And sometimes we don't understand that all of these little things make an impact in the decision making and in the standards that people have or they develop along life. Hey, what's up, Freedom Tube? Nice to see you. Machete, machete. I'll do it if little puppet. Let's see. I asked him if he knew. He said she's a stripper of blue. That's crazy, bro. That's crazy. My boundary, I keep my circle tight, my standards high, and protect my peace. Respect is given, but access is earned, so I don't let nobody. Yeah, bro. Hey, I agree. 100% with that. 100%. those boundaries are important. I truly think that if people can respect your boundaries, if people can respect it and not question them, those are the people that you want around you. But there are people that'll question your boundaries and even try to gaslight you, like, "Oh, that's not normal. Where I thought you're supposed to love me, like, if you love me, you're gonna do this." And then they manipulate, they gaslight based off of those boundaries. Like, don't make people question your boundaries. Now, some boundaries are a little unhealthy. Let's, honestly, you still need some kind of human contact. Some people are like, they said I was a hermit with an hermit, Hermet. That it was spelled that way. Someone said I was a hermit. I'm not a hermit. I'm surrounded by people. I go out. I talk to my neighbors. No, some people don't have that, and because maybe they've set those boundaries too high. There has to be, you still have to have access to the world, and the world still has to have some access to you. But what is the access that you will allow? Those are the boundaries that you set based on your standards. Look at this. Let's see. Machete, I'm like that also cool, but okay. Oh, y Mateo, why you don't agree with this one? You don't think we should set up boundaries? Why? Explain, please. I'm talking about setting up boundaries. And the boundaries that we set are based on our standards. But we also can't, we also have to understand that, when you're a child, you're conditioned by the decision making of the parents, right? So where do you learn, or how do you learn to set or not set boundaries is direct comes directly from how you're being raised. That's what I believe. But if you have a different thought, let me know. That's right, Oakland. Everything. Nice to see you. Yeah, you can go ahead and leave your opinion, Mateo. I love it when people have a different opinion and can explain. So if you can explain, that'll be good. But you have to set boundaries. Now, once again, sometimes you may need to learn how to manage your emotions. Like, there's a whole lot of work to be done first and foremost before you can even begin to set the right type of boundaries, right? Because you also don't want to limit yourself to what you can learn from others. No, racism is a sort of boundary. It keeps us separated. It keeps us, apart from people based on their looks, based on, what their skin color is. All these racist fools against me because of my nationality. I mean, all of that is a barrier. It's a boundary. No, so not all barriers are good. No, some barriers are not good if they keep you from learning, if they keep you from accessing maybe a different point of view, a different perspective that might help you in life. Sometimes we rob ourselves of those opportunities because we're judging something wrong, and that judgment becomes a boundary. Let's see. I should have set boundaries. Now I'm playing for it with crazies. Yeah. Well, I know about your case in particular, Oakland. Yeah. And man, I pray for you. I pray for you. Pray for that situation. There's got to be a solution to that. Hopefully it comes through in a peaceful way. And that's really what I want for people, is to be able to resolve their issues peacefully. But in order for you to be able to do that, you have to be okay with yourself, right? You have to be balanced. You can't let your feelings, your emotions take over, or your pride. Like, you have to be able to see things clearly. And it takes time, especially when you're the affected party, like, you're the one that's being rung through the mud or being affected by the situation the most. It's kind of hard being the bigger person sometimes, or being the reasonable person, right? But thank you, son. But sometimes you have to force yourself. Let's see, Mateo. It's respectful to acknowledge another person if it's family. Saying a hello is not going to overstep boundaries. A hug or a kiss not required, but hello is right. Okay, yeah. A hello is fine, but see, But I think that it's important that maybe you have the conversation later with your child and not force them there. You know what I mean? Like, I hear what you're saying, and I think that has to do with, once again, with, if you show your child that it's okay to say hi to people, like, they will mimic what you do. So if it's something that you always do, that you always say, and you make it okay, and your kids grow up in that type of environment where you say hi to people, even out on the street that you don't know, if you're the type of person that says hi, then your child will be the type of person that will say hi. But what I'm saying is that in that moment, if your child is saying no, just be like, oh, maybe later, maybe they'll come around, and have that conversation later, but not make it an issue at that moment, because that's when it becomes like, wow, okay, like, I'm being pressed, to do this, and I'm not feeling it. And a veces we say our kids are malcriados, right? Ah, el niño malcriado no quiere saludar, doesn't want to say hi, but no, it's not really that. Sometimes we just, sometimes it's because of how we're raising them that our children are a little hesitant of talking to people. So, it's a mixed bag. But that's what I'm saying. As children, we learn, like, however it is that we're raised, but as adults, we really need to figure out, what our standards are and where our boundaries will be. Frank Tica's dropping papas. What's up, Bill Manor? Nice to see you. Hope you're feeling good, man. Hope everyone's feeling great. Once again, send my prayer to everyone that's out there, that's watching, that's going through it. I give thanks to God for the opportunity just to be here, to be alive for another day. And I want everyone out there to be good, to feel good. Prayers always for your health, for your well-being, for your safety, for your prosperity. We're gonna keep doing what we do. You know? And these things are more like I said, and I appreciate you, Imateo, for bringing it up and explaining your point of view. I think that is what makes great conversation, when we can have differences of opinions and understand each other. You know. Hi everyone. Hey, how's it going, Sunshine? How's it going? Nice to see you. Thanks so much for stopping by and watching. Thanks so much. I move with heart, but I don't let my feelings make me drop my boundaries. Yeah, but sometimes it might take some people a little more to get to that level. Because like I said, there sometimes we have things that we need to work on, right? When we're talking about emotional intelligence, there may be some psychological aspects or trauma situations that also play a factor in the type of boundaries that we set up. Let's see, they learn what they observe, so it starts with the parent. Yeah, exactly. No, and I agree. I totally agree. But like I said, if sometimes like parents won't be that way, but all of a sudden company come and they want you want your children to behave like a totally different way than they normally do. Like maybe the kid has never said hi, or you haven't taught him that. Like, I'll give you an example. Like, the kids of like one of my sisters, they don't even really talk to us. I mean, they can say hi, whatever, but they don't have that world. They'll talk to us, but I know that it's because my sister raised them that way. As to where my kids, they're chatterboxes and they'll talk to you and they're very, secure about themselves, but because of how I raised them. So yeah, most definitely it has to do with the influence parents have. But that's what I'm saying. Like, we have to be smart in that sense, in knowing that we can affect, how our children set boundaries by the boundaries that we respect. Like, how, if we respect some of their boundaries. And I don't think it's bad or it's wrong to have conversations and negotiate with your children. Sometimes you have to do that. Like, sit down and talk to them. Like, why is this going on? And just hear them out. You know. Hey, what's up, the PD2? Saludos, Frank and gente. I send ours right back. I'm feeling better today, Frank. Oh, that's good. It'll matter. I'm glad to hear, man. Glad to hear, bro. It's always good to hear that you guys are doing good. That's right. It'll matter, Katie Frizzle. That's right, Mateo. That's right. That's right. Oakland dice, y Mateo, el que va llegando va saludando was my dad taught us, y el saludo es de mano. Yeah, but that's like baked into who you are. But I'll give you an example. Modern day parents don't really follow a lot of those traditions, right? But then all of a sudden their friends come over and they want them to say hi to everybody, and then the kid's like, nah. So I think, like, that's just an example. It's just one example, but we just have to understand, like, what when we want people to respect our boundaries, we have to be able to respect the boundaries of others, even of our kids. And there's a fine line though of being a parent, like how much you can respect that boundary. That's every household. That's up to every household. But as far as like me, I try, I walk that try to walk that fine line, but there's moments in which I have to, hey, you know what, I got to check that phone. When they were young, now they're adults. My kids are adults, and and they're good kids, like they're good adults. So I'm like, I figured that I did something right. You know what I mean? Let's see, Rose and Karma. I don't know who you are, man, but oh well, thanks for being here. Saludos, hey, what's up, Terps? Saludos, buenas tardes to you too, Terps. Nice to see you, man. That's right, Oakland, everything. Nice to see you. Tikas in chat sending my Mag. Nice to see you, Mag. Shout out to you. But we have to set boundaries. We have to. And I think that we also have to respect what other people might consider a microaggression. Like, what microaggressions are. It's like, those little things that it's like they bother you, or that it's maybe it's something that's prejudice or stereotypical, and someone always like maybe makes a mention of it in like a joking manner, but it bothers you. That's a microaggression, and sometimes you have to tell people, hey, don't fucking talk about that shit. I don't like it, you know? Now, if you can move away, the best thing is to move away. But if these are people that you're going to be around with 24/7 with, sometimes you have to let people know, hey, I don't like this. I want to get along. I want us to get along. I don't want to have any problems with you, man. But this right here, this topic bothers me. Now, the other person has every right to say, why, and ask, why does it bother you? And you guys can have that conversation. And once again, that is the reason why I always say it's good to confront, it's good to have that conversation, because eventually you can just say, you know what, I'm gonna keep doing it. And then you kind of force an action. you know if you can't find peace, sometimes you force an action. Hey, sometimes you have to force an action. Sometimes you have to bring something to a point where it's unavoidable to deal with. Like, now you have to deal with it. No, there's moments in life in which you can't move forward unless you can deal with that situation, and you have to be able to have that conversation, right? Let's see. That's right, Mag. Burners and unions, we got boundaries here. That's right, Cali Bid. Keep on watching, homie. That's right, man. It's nice to see you guys. You guys, man, you guys do a great job. Thank you so much, Cali Big Dog. That's right, Terps. Terps, saludos, amigo. Open everything. That's right, Max. Okay, yeah. Now our standards are intricately aligned to the boundaries that we set. One of the things that I concentrated on very much with my daughter was like having, being able to go out with her at least every once in a while, just her and I. I did the same with my son. No, it was just her and I go eat something and talk. Or go buy something that she wanted to buy, and in the meantime, we would talk, go get some ice cream, whatever. I made sure to do that type of thing. And then we would have a lot of conversations, like, how I saw things. She would tell me how she saw things, and she would tell me the things that she was doing, the things that she was drawing, and just everything, just little conversations, just conversations. And in those conversations, I showed her the type of man that I am. So that hopefully, right when she decides to have a relationship and do all of that, her standards will be high towards someone that respects, that listens, right? That shows, opens the door for her, that protects her. Because those are the things that I want for my child. So I have to be able to show her how that looks like so that she can go ahead and understand when it's there. Like we have to show our children the type of people, that we want for them. Because they're going to look at us. And if you guys know, a little bit about psychology, a lot of times we're attracted to certain aspects, certain um, traits, characteristics that are familiar, to family. Like we look for something familiar. That's why when you see people that were in an abusive home, a lot of times they attract or they find abusive relationships because there's a lot of things that have not been taken care of, that have not been observed. Keep your scalpel to their necks, my friend. That's right. Sunshine Valentine, saludos, Mike. That's right, Mags. Ill mannered. Yes, that's right. Sam Mine. Thank you so much for being here, guys, and listening in. I've got 30 people watching. If you haven't hit the like, please hit the like. If you haven't subscribed, please do so. I did put out a video earlier today. I put out a video. Please check it out. Please hit the like. Battle boxes tomorrow. Battle boxes tomorrow. I already got a challenge. We'll see if it goes through. We'll see if it goes through. Now, I said I don't want to challenge anyone in the battle boxes, but if people want to challenge me, I'm down. So whatever you want to challenge me on. But boundaries are important. Our standards are important because we maneuver through life based on these things. We make decisions based on these things. Like what we allow into our life is going to be intricately associated with our standards. At least that's how it should be. Like if you have to constantly modify your standards, your belief system, your boundaries to let people in and out of your life, then something's not working. Because those are supposed to be filters. Like some of those are filters, right? And some of those are passes. Some are filters, some are passes. But if you constantly have to adjust to allow people in and out of your life, then you're not doing it right. Basically, like you really now and it's trial by error. Like I said, you might have some standards that are maybe too high, maybe not realistic. Like I'll give you guys an example, and I've said it before, and I'll probably use this example again because it's continues to be prevalent. And it's when we want a certain type of person in our life, and we have this image, we have this idea of who the perfect person is, and we try to, like, we have like unreal expectations over people. Like no one's perfect, no one's gonna live up to all of your expectations. That's why sometimes you have to negotiate. Now, when you're meeting someone and you decide to have a family together, or not even a family, to just be in a relationship together, you really need to have a conversation as to what's cool and what's not. Straight up. Like you cannot catch, you cannot be caught by surprise of things. Like imagine if, one day you wake up and homegirl's going through your wallet, but you didn't set that boundary. It's like that boundary didn't have to be set. But it's like obvious. It's like, why are you going through my wallet? Like, what the fuck? Like, why are you going through my shit? Maybe I needed to set up that boundary, you know? And it's as easy as saying, I like my privacy. I like to keep my things private. If there's anything I want to share with you, I'm going to share it freely, but, and I expect the same from you, we shouldn't be forced. Like these are things that you talk about, and if you don't agree to that, then maybe that's not the relationship you want to be in. But those are boundaries, those are standards, those are things that we should be able to discuss, especially if we're entering into some kind of partnership with someone, whether it's a relationship, business, whatever it is. You're going to start a rock band, and the lead singer, he loves to drink, loves to party, and everybody else in the band fucking goes to church. It's like, that's not compatible. So even our compatibility, like how compatible we are with people, with groups, will be based on our standards and our boundaries. Ah, you got the soccer mug out today? Yeah, hey, it was my Father's Day gift. Thanks to my kids. Let me see. Saludo, tica. I'm sorry, I skipped this. Let me read this. The thumbnail of Joker on that video you dropped, that guy is a straight lame child trapped in the old, fragile, brittle old man body. Look, I'm older, I'll be 50 this year. That's crazy to me, to be honest with you, to tell you guys that I'm gonna be 50 this year. You know. It still like surprises me just because man, 50 was unthinkable at some point in my life, you know? I mean, and you feel the changes in your body. That's why you want to continue working out, at least take a walk, walk your dog, do something. But you know what worries me the most about him is not so much is that his body is a consequence of his mind. And that's a man that has set up the wrong boundaries. Like has set up the wrong boundaries. Like he set up boundaries around people that tell him good advice. Like if you give that fool good advice, he's gonna block you. That's his boundaries. I don't want to hear the good shit. I don't want to hear your advice. I will continue to drink and destroy myself. That's what I want to do. I'm going to listen to those voices. Those are boundaries. Those are standards. Those are his standards. His standards are the people that he wants around his life are enablers. You know? It just so happens that we haven't really caught too many of his crashes out, but he's been crashing out. It hasn't stopped. It's just that we haven't caught it like lately. But the next time, I'm thinking that the next time he crashes out, we're probably going to catch that. And he's probably going to say some way wild shit that's going to be weird. What's cracking, bro? Hope you're having a good day. Hey, what's up, X-Rated? Chilling, bro. Drinking my coffee, watching the game, on live with you guys. Talking papas, talking papas. Thumpin Thursday, talking papas. Frantica's dropping knowledge. You have to know what to filter out and what to filter in. And that requires that you know yourself. And that is hard to know who we are. It takes time to really do some introspection and figure out what you're going to be, like what you're going to stand on. Like, this is what I'm going to stand on. This is who I am. I'm going to stand on this. If this, in this type of situation, this is who I am, I'm going to stand on this. Like to have that clarity requires time. Sometimes you got to go through it a few times until you realize what the right boundaries are. Saludos, Franticas. Happy Thursday. Shout out to Hugo Torres. Hugo Torres, thanks so much. That's right. That's right. My favorite toys. That's why I fuck with you, though. Yeah. That man ate so many top ramens in jail. That's his body and shit. Man, look. Hey, look. I'm going to tell you, though. A lot of us eat a lot of top ramen, but if you went out there and worked out, it didn't matter. Like that's the thing, though. That's why it was mandatory that you went out there and did your workout, did your routine, because you could seriously like overdo it if you're eating ramen and nothing but fucking carbs. Cali Big Dog, no boundaries. That's right. He can't look himself in the mirror. That is an issue. He has a boundary with that fucking mirror. That crash out is overdue. Yeah, I think so. You gonna start crying against the no? Are you gonna come up with new material at some point? You guys gotta come up with new material, man. It gets repetitive. It gets old. Look, we are at war, and words are the weapons. So don't cry, complain, bitches, and one thing like that. Your words aren't the weapons. Your if your words are lies, then then it's bullshit, bro. Like once you have to lie, you lost. Like, if you have to lie, you lost, bro. If you have to come up with bullshit narratives and throwing fake jackets on people, you lost. If you have to fucking call the cops and do all of that to swat people, if you have to do all of that, you lost, bro. You're not even a contender at that point because you just proved that you have no ethics. You're not an upstanding individual. No, you're a leech. You'll go through any lengths to do things. So there's no respect. So yeah, we're gonna talk shit when you guys do shit that we're not doing to you. We're not making shit up on any of you motherfuckers. I ignore you to the most part. You guys are the ones that can't ignore me. You know, for the most part, I couldn't care less. You guys can put out content, make videos, do all that shit. You guys already do it. Let's see, AJ, you're gonna say, yo, man, I'm just a simple country girl who likes to play with guns. That's right. Hey, that's right, Max. That's his favorite food. Trolls. At least get new material or be funny or get the. Yeah, man, they're not even funny. It's not even entertaining. But anyways, yeah. So standards are important. The boundaries that we set are important too. What we allow into our life is equally as important as who we allow into our life. We have to have control. Now by saying this, we all have different vices. All of us have different vices. We're not perfect. We all have things that tempt us. All of us do, and it would be unreal. It would be hypocritical. It would be a lie to say that we don't have certain passions towards things that maybe we know aren't good for us. You know, and we might buckle under pressure and give in to temptation, whatever it is. And you can't beat yourself up too hard because you're gonna mess up. I mean, we're all gonna mess up at some point, but like the less you mess up on something, that to me is what shows growth. And eventually, you should be able to not let something affect you. Like you should be able to have control over things. That's why I said that standards and boundaries go together. But if you're not put together well, if your mind isn't right, if your body isn't right, your health, your emotions, whatever it is, your economy, your whole economic situation is bad. Like any of those factors, if any of those factors are going on in your life, it could be one. Sometimes we got 3 or 4 issues going on at the same time. That survival instinct is going to kick in, and we might not respect certain boundaries and certain standards. That's what you see happen with addiction. When you That's what you see happen with addiction. It gets to a point where the addiction becomes so strong that you can break your own boundaries. Like those things that are right and wrong, it starts getting blurry when the need for the drug hits. And I totally understand that. No? And that's something hard to work on. And so I salute you guys, those of you guys that are putting in the work to get better, to get healthy, to be clean. No, I salute you because it's hard. It's hard. We make a lot of bad decisions if we're under the influence or if we're hooked on something. And it could be a drug, it could be a person. So our standards should be able to regulate just how far out on a limb, just how way out, like way out Wednesdays, right? Like yesterday, we're willing to go. So we have to have boundaries, not just for other people, but first and foremost for ourselves. We have to have boundaries for ourselves. We have to set boundaries for ourselves, knowing that if I do this, I'm going to get burned. If I do this, I'm going to get myself in a situation that I don't want to be in. Well, that's why I turned my life around, and that's why I don't understand why these dudes, these guys, they hate me for no fucking reason. But let them be, let them be. Can't understand that what I want to be far removed from ever being in a situation where I compromise my ethics, my boundaries, and my standards. I'm going to be as far removed from that as possible. Now, it's going to take steps. I'm still working on it. It's going to be a lifelong process, but the fact remains that you have to get started somehow, somewhere. And I've been working at this for almost 30 years. Like, this is not a process that started when I started my channel back up. No, this is a process that has been going on. And through that time, I have made mistakes as far as boundaries, as far as me setting up boundaries, me crossing boundaries, vice versa. But you learn to regulate, you learn to understand. If you're really focused on it, and if that's something that you're really trying to do, just like when I talk about time management, same thing. Like you have to put it into practice. Like you can have an idea of how to manage time, but if you never put it into practice, you're always going to find yourself late for shit or not without enough time to do certain things. Or constantly procrastinating. That's right, Ghost, Ghost. That's right. Let's see. I gotta go, family. It's my sister's birthday. Let her say, hey, shout out to your sister, man. God bless you and your family, bro. Have fun, man. Have fun. Have fun. Take it all in, bro. Take it all in. Like those are the things that you should not have boundaries on. Like the type of time that you can spend with your family, you should not limit it. And sometimes it is limited because we're only maybe focused on the economic part of it. But sometimes family just wants to spend time together doing something together. You have to figure that out. But once again, those are all things that you kind of grow into as time goes on. You have to set up boundaries. First for yourself. Like you have to learn to control you first and foremost. Well, you can't expect people to respect your boundaries if you don't respect others' boundaries. You cannot demand respect if you're not respectful. You cannot expect people to take you seriously if you're constantly clowning. If you're always clowning what you're demonstrating to people, people are start creating a standard. They start creating an expectation of who you are. And if you're always the clown, and if you're always, taking, making jokes, not taking shit seriously, procrastinating, you're that's the idea that people have of you, and people might start setting up boundaries to not associate with you, or vice versa. You might have people that will want to mess with you because that's who they think you are. You know, that you're a clown, that you don't take things seriously. So how we act, what we put out there, should be concise with what we think, with what our standards are. It should be concise. No, and that's why, once again, if you don't know me, but what you see is consistent, then I'll believe in that consistency, as opposed to anything that someone else could say. Now, we have to be able to set up boundaries as well. And like I said yesterday, as to who we allow in our circle to get in our ear. And that comes from standards, that comes from boundaries. Like, do you entertain gossip? We talked about that a little bit yesterday. Do you entertain gossip? Do you entertain lies? If you do, then your standards in that area are very low, right? And if your standards in that area are very low, what that means is not only are you going to entertain it, but you will partake in it, in the gossip, in the rumor mill, you know? And that's what it is. There has to be some consistency in how you walk, how you talk, and how you do what you do. There has to be. All of that is based on our standards and our boundaries. You know. Let's see. So those Frank and Chad in the background just got off my appointment. Got to start the grill up for some corn and chicken. Hey, that's good. That sounds good. That sounds good. Hey, good afternoon, Miss Yasha, Miss Yaya, Miss Jaja, Jaja Gabor, Miss Yaya. Nice to see you. Thank you so much for showing up and for always supporting me. You're my sister, and I truly am grateful for your friendship and your words. God bless you and your family, Miss Yaya. Let's see. Oh, Manor, are you kidding, right? It's my sister's birthday. Oh, that's crazy. Well, happy birthday to your sister, man. God bless her, too. Enjoy it. Enjoy it. Enjoy time with family. Sometimes we set more boundaries up for family than we do for people outside the family. And it a lot of times it has to do with that. It has to do with whatever fucking trauma, whatever it is that we didn't agree with at some point in our lives. So we're a lot nicer to people outside of the house or outside of the family than we are to our own family members. That speaks volumes. And I know a lot of people like that. I'm not saying the majority are like that, but it is very prevalent. You know, you have parents whose kids will shut them out of a lot of things, and they'll just be like, it's a phase. They're just going through it. No, there's a reason why they're blocking you out of shit. I mean, your kids can want privacy, and there's things that are definitely going to be private. They're their own little people, their own humans. They grow up to become adults. You have to respect their privacy, but there are certain things that you guys should be able to talk about. And if there's things that you can't talk about, and your kids are like reserving themselves from talking about it, then you need to kind of figure. You need to kind of pry a little bit. See, and that's where I'm saying that as a parent, there are certain boundaries that I understand you might forfeit, right? Like, I see a change in my child. I see them acting differently. I see them behaving differently. Now they're blocking me. They're putting barriers up. They're putting a wall around them. They're not talking to me or or my wife. Something's up. I have to know because that's my child. That's right. Can't do this. Okay. Ticas, gracias, hermano. That's right. That's crazy. That's right. But anyways, hey, what's up, OG Smalls? Nice to see you. Thank you for stopping by and watching, listening. Got 26 people watching. If you haven't already done so, please hit the like. If you haven't done so, please subscribe. I did upload a video today. Please check it out. Give it a like. Give it a view. I appreciate everybody that rocks with me, that rocks with my channel, that supports me and what I do. And we're not going to stop. Shout out to Exposed Tube, to the ladies of Exposed Tube, Terps, to Sooners, Hangman Stranger, Taco Stain, Everybody putting their content out. Katie Frizzle, you know. Shout out to everyone. To Ghost, I like what you do, Ghost. Keep it up. I want to see more videos from you as well. But yeah, boundaries are important. We have to understand that people will set up boundaries and we can't get mad. Like you can't don't get mad because someone tells you, "Hey, listen, I don't like this. So please can you stop?" I mean, they're letting you know. At least they're being respectful and letting you know. Like if someone takes the time, if someone is willing to come to you and say, "Can you please not call me this way?" Or "Can you please not joke with me this way?" Or "Can you please not touch my stuff?" Right? Can you please not like step around me, like be behind me while I'm working? Like can you like respect my space, my stuff, my opinions, my dreams, my goals, whether I want to have children or not, whether I want to get married or not, whether I'm from this religion or not. Man, those are things you need to be able to respect. Those should be automatic boundaries. There should be boundaries. You should know that you should not be intruding and you should not be trying to impose yourself. Like those are the two things that you need to avoid. Intruding, okay? Don't intrude. If someone wants to share something with you, they will and they'll talk to you eventually. Or you'll find out somehow if you're meant to know. If you're just like being a chismoso or chismosa and you just want the gossip and the other person's gonna know. The other person's gonna know. It's all you're not really interested. You're not invested in my emotions and what I'm going through or this situation. No, you just want gossip. That's all you want. So don't intrude. Don't intrude. Don't intrude. Some things are not for you. And I remember there was this one person at work, like we'd be talking, like I'd be talking with like a friend of mine. We're like, hey, yeah. And then she'd come in like, what are you guys talking about? Like, we're just talking, like like there's stuff that you don't need to know. And then she thought it was just like like naturally people would just open up and tell her exactly what they were talking about. No, bitch, not me. No, and that goes for anybody. Like you have to have boundaries. Not everybody needs to know what you're doing or what your conversations are about. Set up those boundaries. People ask you, they can ask all day long. Doesn't mean you have to give them an answer. It's just like when I come on the live, and I have people asking me a bunch of stuff. It's like, wait a minute, chill. If I want to answer, I'll answer. If not, I won't. I mean, and I've made that very clear like a long time ago on some of the videos that I put out where, there's going to be things that I will be comfortable talking about. I'll try to talk about everything. And if there's something I'm not comfortable with, there may be a reason why. Maybe I'm not fully informed. Maybe I haven't yet reached an opinion. Maybe there's still like moving parts going on and I don't want to like disclose anything, you know? Those are boundaries. That's why sometimes when you guys ask me things like real directly, sometimes I'll tell you, I might not want to answer, and you should be able to respect that. That's a boundary. Because just because I come on a live and I come here and I'm in front of you guys and I give you access and I tell you guys can jump on the links right there. Let me go ahead and share it again. You guys can do that. You guys can share your opinion, but keep it respectful. Let's see. Imateo, my coworker name is Vladimir. I called him Vlad for short. He snipped that in the butt and said, "Call me Vladimir. My feelings didn't get hurt. I respect that boundary." Yeah. You know why, Imateo? Because we don't know why that person doesn't like that, Maybe when he was little, they mocked him Vic the, right, or Dick the Vic, like. And we have to respect it. We don't know where these people are coming from. Like, we don't know what our coworkers have gone through. Like, they go to work and they put on their best face just like we do. Shit. When we go to work anywhere else, anytime you leave the house, you try to put your best face on. Whatever that face is, whatever face, whatever image you're trying to put out there. Sometimes your image is a boundary. I remember walking around like, because I didn't want people to talk to me. And I always get that, before I met you, you looked like a real angry person. Like you were just going to yell at me. Like, nah, man. But I just prefer people not to talk to me. Like, there's more, like, if I'm walking through like a mall or something, like I zigzag. I'm not the type to like window shop too much. If I know I need shoes, I'll go look for shoes. And once I find the shoes that I want, if I have the money, obviously I'll buy. If I don't have the money, at least I know where they are, and okay, this is where they're at. And next time, I'm just gonna make a beeline to buy the shoes, and I'm off. I don't dilly dally unless I'm with my family and they want to go, shop around. I'm cool. Let's do it. We can walk around. But as far as I'm concerned, I have a certain way of doing things. It's like my son knows that if he's gonna go somewhere with me, we're gonna walk fast. He already knows. Yeah, we got to respect what people's decisions are. We got to respect if someone tells us, you know what, don't call me like that. No, call me this way. That's why I don't have a problem. People talk to me about like genders, right? And obviously, me personally, I have my own belief as far as genders are concerned, and it's more traditional, right? There are certain things in which I'm conservative in, but for me and my life, and I don't impose those things on anybody else. So when people talk about they consider themselves this, it's like, why am I going to get upset about it? All right, that's how you consider yourself, well, I'll talk to you like that. Sure, I don't have a problem. It doesn't do anything to me. It's not changing who I am, you know. But I expect that that respect that you want, where you want me to call you or to treat you a certain way, that you also have that same respect of not trying to impose anything on me. I'll respect you. Like, I respect. That's why I said sometimes you just have to give respect. And it's not about whether it's right or whether it's wrong, whether it's biblical, whether it's not your life, it's their life. Like, why are you so concerned? Like, you really care if what happens to these people. You don't care. You just want something to judge them on sometimes. And I'm talking to like the trolls, or the people that love to make comments and judge people and body shame and all of that. Call people out their name or make fun of them and what they're into, man. Just let people be. You have to control yourself. That's a fucking boundary that you should not be crossing. You know? Some people have their favorite color. Let them fucking wear their favorite color. Mannered. All right, I'll give her your regards. You're good, my friend. My brother from Illinois. That's right. You got to respect boundaries. You got to set boundaries, but you also have to have standards. You also have to have ethics. And you cannot impose any of those on anybody. Those are just for you. Those are just for you. Your boundaries, your standards, your ethics, your morals are for you. They control your life, they control your mind, not everybody else's. Let people be. Yeah, be like skills and wear the rim. Yeah, hey, if that's what makes you happy, what that doesn't, it doesn't do anything to me. It doesn't change my family life. Like, it doesn't change the fact that I'm, straight. Doesn't change the fact that, I find women beautiful and attractive, but I'm a married man. And see, and I think that a lot of people don't understand that. Like, I've been the type that been like, damn, you look good. I've been the type to flirt. I've been that type when I was younger and I was single and I didn't have the responsibilities that I had. And then there was a moment in time, a long time ago, years ago, when we were going through a rocky situation in which I was talking to people, but it was talked about. I was separated for a while, and during that time, I had conversations with people. But once that ended, like once there was a reconciliation, once there was a commitment to doing things the right way, and I grew and I understood and I recapacitated and I realized that I was being selfish, that I was wrong, you know. Thank God that everything was okay. We didn't, nothing went down the drain. It was just a moment of we needed clarity. And even when I was talking to people at the end, it was like, do I really want to pursue? Like, I'm already going through a bad enough situation as it is. Do I really want to pursue another relationship that could be just as bad or worse? So I was always like, whenever it came down to, like, what's it called? To executing and meeting up with people, I was always like, nah, fuck. You know what? I apologize. I'm not ready for none of that. And I'm glad, and I'm glad that I did that, because those were boundaries that I needed to set for myself. Had this been the me of years ago, I would have been like, let's go. I would have been partying, but I was too concerned with trying to resolve the issues, my personal issues. So that separation helped me, get myself together, like put myself on check. Sometimes you have to find balance within yourself before you can balance things out with other people. That's where you have your boundaries. Like, what are you going to allow to affect you? What are you going to allow to trigger you? Like, all of those things you need to work out. Those are boundaries, those are standards. Rock the rainbow. Hey, what's up, Jay Slaughter? Nice to see you in here, man. There's a lot of misplaced oppressed homosexual surges amongst those trolls. Yeah, man, straight up. I, you know, I agree. But and the fact that if you're suppressing something, you've set a boundary for yourself, and it's not a healthy one. It's not a healthy boundary. That's why these fools get mad at me, because I'm so expressive. I just speak my mind. I speak it the way I want. I express myself the way I want. I don't, I'm not asking you guys permission to show who I am and how I feel. I don't ask anybody for permission. I've always been this way, and I'm going to continue being this way. No, I didn't create this persona just to come on YouTube. I've been this way, and I just so happened to put out a YouTube channel in which I show you exactly who I am. Imagine repressing your homosexuality. Just eat. That's crazy, bro. Yeah, buttery chesticles. Did you see that, Mag? Did you see that? I put a community post up of a conversation that those dudes were having on me in one of their lives, man. They were talking about my body, my chest. And it just made me understand that some of these dudes really are suppressing a lot of feelings. I'm not going to judge them. I just call it how I see it. Ill manner, what the fuck? I mean, so you can set too many unrealistic expectations and standards as well. You have to know who you really are. Like, who are you? Like, what do you like? What don't you like? And come to peace with it. Come to peace with it. Accept yourself for who you are. Now, if whatever it is that you realize is a part of you that you don't like, or that you think that you can work on or improve on or remove out of your life, do so. No, take the steps to make those changes. No, but no one's gonna make those changes for you, and no one needs to accept you for who you are. And see, and I think that that's like a wrong lesson people teach sometimes. Is we tell people that, or we've been told that if we are who we are, that we're gonna be accepted. That's not necessarily the case. And it's obvious here. Like, dudes don't accept me for who I am. Like, they don't accept the fact that I am the way that I am. They've got their preconceived notions, and they're gonna continue push it until it makes sense to them. No, you aren't always gonna be liked for being who you are, but that's where you have to have the right standards and live up to them. Like, if this is who I am and this is who I'm going to be, that's my standard, and I'm going to respect it, and I'm going to die on that standard. That's who I'm going to be always. Unless you discover that that is wrong, right? And then if you're trying to find improvement, then you will move on and you will grow into whatever it is that you should be. Let's see, just trying to be supportive of, yeah. No matter regard. That's right, oh man. Decals are checking you out. Yeah, man, it's crazy. I'm telling you, they're mesmerized. Hey, it's Thumpin' Thursday, Talking Papas. Frank Decals dropping knowledge. Talking Papas live. Thumpin' Thursday. If you haven't hit the like, please hit the like. If you haven't subscribed, please subscribe. Yeah, I appreciate every single one of you that supports me, that rocks with my channel, that watches me. I'm going to continue putting out content. I came out earlier today. Today I jumped on the live a little earlier. So I'll be off a little earlier as well. I want to take my dog out for a walk, you know. But yeah. Now, it's healthy to set boundaries, but you also have to realize if your boundaries are keeping you from growth, if your boundaries keep you from growing or keep you from like attaining better things for yourself, then you should reconsider whether that boundary is actually healthy or not. Like, trauma can cause you to set up boundaries that are not realistic or that are more harmful and toxic than they do help. Because maybe you're trying to protect yourself, you're trying to keep a wound protected, but that wound is going to fester up. So it is important, once again, for you to be in a right frame of mind, for you to be good and work on those things, so that when you set your boundaries, so that when you set your standards, they are accurate. They're not based on the moment. They're not based on what's happening now. You know, Joe's he's been there, done that. 700 Club. Yeah, so boundaries are important. Boundaries are important. We need to set them up. We need to respect them. No, and once again, our standards are equally as important. What are you going to allow into your life? Who will you allow into your life? What doctrine will you allow into your life? What dogma? Right? What were are you filtering shit out? Are you like really seeing like what you're taking in? Like, are you looking at it? Are you focusing on what you're receiving? Because we're constantly receiving signals, you know? We're constantly being bombarded with images and sound, ideas, points of view. I'm bombarding you daily, talking papas daily live. No, so I mean, eventually a lot of what we say, a lot of what you hear, a lot of what you engage with will start formulating your thoughts, your ideas, your standards, what you allow and don't allow in your life. Shut up, Googleplex. You need to create another channel. Man, you must be bored, fool. See, you make the mistake, and like I always tell people, don't speak for others, speak for yourself. Don't speak for others. Because then when the others come out and they say, that's not true. That's not real. That's not accurate, you're gonna look stupid. Like I already saw a back pedal where, well, I'm not gonna be the one that brings them out if they, because they enjoy being there, so they're just gonna put up with it. Okay. So then what is it? I'm telling you, guys are mesmerized, man. See, and that's why we set boundaries. That's why I set boundaries with you fools. That's why I set boundaries. I don't let you guys into affecting anything. I'm entertained by you fuckers. That's the truth. I'm entertained, and I'd rather be entertained. I'd rather not take offense. I'd rather not take offense. That's why I ignore you guys. I ignore all your bullshit, the videos that you put out on me, the images that you make of me, the AI generated bullshit. You guys are depraved. You're a sick puppy, Anonymous. You're a sick puppy. You fantasize with me in bed. Very manly of you. In none of my material have I ever created images of another man in bed. A man that I'm supposed to not like. And now I make a video of him in bed and saying like freaky shit. That sounds like a fucking fetish, bro. Like you truly are infatuated. Like, see, all this that you put right here, that's just you trying to get attention so people will go look at that freaky shit that you put on. You're a freak dog. You're a fucking freak. You're a freaky little fucking dog, freaky frog. Some people love boundaries for themselves, but hop right over them for other people. Yeah, exactly. Just like this. But I will always push for respect and for respecting boundaries. You just have to respect when people tell you something. Respect when people say, you know what, step off. You know what, I don't want to talk about that. You know what, when I'm ready, I'll let you know. For now, I don't know. Respect it. Shit. People are going through shit. Not everyone's thinking like you are. Not everyone's concerned with the same things that you're being concerned. You're concerning yourself with. You know. hey, hey. Well, I don't know if Looney's in there, but if he's here. But I saw that he put something up. That's crazy. Yeah, man. They're obsessed. I enjoy the everyday lives, and when you come on after ET, hey, thank you so much, Mateo. I enjoy being able to, do these lives and spend time with you guys. And, hey, you gave your opinion, right? And you didn't agree with something. And I respect it, you know? And I'm glad. And I love it when you guys, tell me, you know what, Frank, I see it this way, or I don't agree with it because of this. And I can see your point of view, right? And I agree to it. But there's, it's on a case by case basis. And I also think, once again, that every parent, every household is different, But there are some generalities that I think should be looked upon, like the generalities that maybe we all partake in when it comes to these things that should be taken into consideration. And those are the ones that I put out, like things that I know happen in general. Yeah, that's right. That's right. Anonymous. That's right. Me too. I'm entertained sometimes. Hey, look at this. I can dance. What do you want? Shit. I know how to dance. I know how to dance. I've told you, fools, I know how to dance. You know, fuck what you think. Look, If there are ladies in the chat that love to go and dance, that love to dance, okay, if you are someone that at parties or going out to the club, you like to dance, and if you see a guy that knows how to dance, will you not want to dance with a guy that knows how to dance? They're not gonna dance with you, fool. If you don't know how to dance, they're not. They might not even pay attention to you. That's why fools sometimes fail at the club because they think that all women are looking for is something. No, sometimes women want to go out there to truly dance. You know, and if you're a guy and you know how to dance, and you look good, you smell good, you're dressed good, bro. What else can I say? But see, for you, you guys automatically everything you take it to sexualizing it. That's where your mind is. That's why ET calls you minds of squalor. And I agree. You guys are fucking minds of squalors. It was so much at the tearing down boundaries with your loved ones. Ain't it only brings drama, hurt, and broken trust. Yeah, man. We have to be respectful, and like I'll give you guys, man, my mom, I love my mom. I love my parents. But my mom is very much like that. Like, she'll like there will be certain boundaries and she doesn't like to respect them. My mom, I love you, but here you gotta let me do this, or you can't, you're not a part of this. No, and sometimes she gets a little upset, but at the end she's like, no, you know what, you're right, man. You're right. Hypocritical boundaries are the worst. Yeah, man. Like these guys. What's up, baby girl Wendy the General? Nice to see you. Good to see you. Thank you for jumping on. Thank you for being here in the live. Long time no see. All right, that's right. That's right. That's right. That's right. That's crazy. What's up, Wolverine? Nice to see you. Look, Jay Slaughter, are you into some dial-up? You're serving antique 1980 energy and turning retire the vintage. I'm sure. Wow, look at this. Like you guys, what do you guys think? You guys think that you can come in here and tell people what to find entertaining because you don't find it entertaining or funny? Because this comment is supposed to like just spread out and wow, you know what? Let me look at Jay Slaughter's comments again. Well, you know what? You're right. Man, you guys are weird. That's right. That's right. Keep doing what you're doing, Jay Slaughter. You know what's up. Look, Max Dicas, hell yeah, give me the best cumbia in line. I was like, that's right, but these guys don't understand that because they don't have those social skills developed. And I remember, like, back in the day with my wife, we used to go, like, when we were dating, we used to go to parties, man, and I would dance. And then her family wanted to dance with me, like her tias or her sisters. They would dance with me because I was one of the only guys that would know how to dance. Oh, oh shit! I know what I know, and I know why I know it, and I know how it serves my purpose in life. I was for my daughter's graduation. I was able to dance with my daughter because I know how to dance. Like there are parents that won't dance with their daughters because they don't know how to dance. That's sad. That's sad. It's sad you can't even dance with your daughter. Imagine it's your daughter's wedding and you can't dance on her wedding. That's fucked up. That's kind of whack. But you guys think you're cool. By saying ballerina ticas. Man, you guys are stupid. You look like simps. You look like fucking. You guys, when you guys make those type of comments, you guys look like incels. Like straight up. That's what you look like. Like those alpha male dudes that don't know whether to like women or not. It's like you guys, you don't know. Like you're undecided right there. Google says not gay to use a glory hole because you don't know. That was funny, Jay Slaughter. Nice to see you. That's right. That's right. Jay Slaughter, not on dial up. I steal my neighbor's Wi Fi. Yeah, man. Hey, man, I used to do tech support for those dial up connections. Man, I remember that. You weren't dancing with me when you fool. You had your hand out looking. Look at stupid. That's your desire, Google. You truly are infatuated with me. You make some gay shit on me. And I don't have a problem with gay people. But when you do it, it tells me what you're about, bro. You're sick. You're sick in the head, fool. You fantasize with me. Like imagine being like creating something. You're like, I'm gonna put Frank in the bed, sticking his tongue out, wearing a tutu, wearing all. I'm gonna make that and feeling proud of yourself. Like feeling proud of yourself and enjoying the process. Like you enjoy the process of creating shit on me that's fucking weird. You enjoy the process, Google. Damn, bro. Like that. Like that. Hey, I respect your preference, bro, but but it talks about you, not about me. It's about you. Let's see. Are you sad that you can't participate in Pride Parades month? You guys are like, once again. You guys fantasize. These are your fetishes. I'm gonna put them on display. Like this is how the trolls get down. What of this makes any type of difference or affects anything we do? You guys are kids. You guys are like little fucking kids. It's crazy. It's crazy. You guys are very juvenile, very childish. I look at this and I'm like, this is kind of sad. This is I don't know. Oh, hey man, cleans up well, and I definitely get my shirt on when I enter the dance floor. I dance with all that. That's right. That's right. Hey man, these guys don't understand, bro. Like back in the day, that's why they called it gangster boogie. You know what I mean? That's why, because you needed to know how to boogie. You had to know how to get down. Just so happens I got a little bit of rhythm too. You know? Oh, they're mad. They're mad. Hey man, they're mad because we get down, bro. Let's see. You forget to type the big word. Shit. Jay Slider, we love you, bro. That's right. Y Mateo, nice to see you, Mateo. That's right, man. Right back at you. Esos son sus fantasías, right? Esas son sus fantasías, straight up. They're fantasizing over here. Like, wow. Look, whenever you see them put a video out on me or a thumbnail or whatever, they always like it's some straight up fetish shit. Like straight up fetish with me. Hey, tomorrow I'm gonna work out. Tomorrow I'm gonna work out and I'm gonna film it. I'm gonna film my workout video. I'm gonna post it. But hey, man, that's right, my friend. I will be waiting for you. Let's get your boogie on, bro. I love to dance. That's right, because I can see it now. Yeah, come on. And I learned how to do like how to spin, and bring you around. Like I know how to do all of that. But that I learned at a young age because my parents love to dance. All my family knows how to dance. My aunts, one of my uncles, rest in peace. He used to dance. He used to be a professional dancer. Man, he was going out with all kinds of women. He dated like two of those Soul Train dancers. My uncle was crazy. Pinche bola de fresas con crema. Yeah, man, they're fucking dumb. Look, fulfilling their ballerina fetish, they should pay you. You guys expose yourself. I mean, straight up, you guys are fucking freaky deaky. You expose yourself. See, that's why I said boundaries, bitch. Hell yeah, Maggie. Hey, that's why you said boundaries, because I don't need to see that shit. But I laugh. Look, those are funny. Those are funny. I'll laugh at those. I'll laugh at those. Those are funny. I think that's funny. Like when you guys call me a ballerina, I think that's funny. It's funny because you guys are stupid. I funny because you. It's funny because you guys think there's a problem with knowing how to dance, because you guys are making it out to be something, and yet talk to any woman, bro, that likes to dance. You know that loves to dance and loves dancing with a partner that can move and that can move her and like bring the best moves out, because you if you're a good dancer you can bring the best moves out of people. You can do that. You know, you do certain steps that'll and you guide to make your partner do certain steps. That's sexy shit. But you guys wouldn't know because you don't know how to dance, and that's not my problem. And I'm not saying it's wrong that you don't know how to dance, but don't knock a man that can cut the rug. You know, that's just more competition for your ass. Straight up. See, you guys really are limited. That's why it's funny. That's why it's funny to me. You guys are limited. You guys show and prove every single day just how ignorant, ill-informed, and dumb you are. Literally, yeah. Let's see. Hell yeah, man. Literally exposed themselves, kicked out of several Jehovah's Witnesses. Imagine Pixie plays on the dance floor with his voice cracking. Man, imagine asking, "Hey, can I have this dance?" with his voice. Can I have this dance? Imagine saying, "Can I have this dance?" and his voice is all cracking. That's crazy. Hey, what's up, Peaceful? Nice to see you. Nice to see you, Peaceful. Chilling. Stuttering dance moves. Yeah, man. What about the uncle walking around with bad hips and everyone nicknamed them cumbia dance while actually walking to? Yeah, bro. You know. When you come from that type of family where people love to dance and get down, man, that's man, you learn fast how to cut a rug, and you learn fast how that is an attractive trait to know how to dance. It's an attractive trait. You're gonna tell me that you don't see a woman, a good-looking woman, well dressed, you know, done up, and just knowing how to dance, knowing how to move. That's attractive. Well, the same thing happens if you're a man and you know how to move. Women look at you and like, man, that guy knows how to move. He knows how to get down. That's attractive. But you guys don't think about women. You guys are online trying to appease other men. That's why you troll, because you like to get them out of boys from other men. You freaks. You guys are weird. I can make them dance if they want me to. I can make you dance, 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 dance. Do, do, do. Leonard and Joker dance with a. Look, no, that's what they said. Look, that's true. That may be true. That's what they're talking about me. But man, come on, bro. You gotta look. If you want more ways of breaking the ice with the opposite sex, learn to fucking dance. Learn to cook. Learn to speak and elaborate your thoughts. Write poetry. I don't know. Do something. Be creative, bitch. Straight up. Like you're limited. You guys are so fucking limited that when you see a man that can dance, in this case, hey, Hangman Stranger can dance too. I believe it. You know. I remember I used to go out with my cousins. All of us know how to dance, guys and girls. And we'd go in like three different cars. Like I go with one of my cousins. Like somebody would go with one of their cousins. Like it would be two and two in each car. Because sometimes we ended up meeting people, and it was like, hey, we need the room just to drive off and go find a spot to kick it. You meet people knowing how to dance, but you guys are so fucking retarded and stupid. Sorry for using that word, but obviously it applies. Like you have to be a retrograde to think that knowing how to do things is bad. Like there's truly has to be something wrong with you to think that having skills and having abilities and putting them to use is a bad thing. Like your survival instincts are shot out. Straight up. Talking in that Morty accent from Rick and Morty. A ver, a ver, a ver, a ver, vamos a ver la colita. A ver, a ver. Yeah, man, these guys don't know. They don't know. Like when those songs come on, and you see the women are like, they're already like women are already moving, and that's the invitation. But if you don't know how to dance, you don't know. You're not gonna accept it. You're gonna be over there like, man, that's fucked up that she's dancing with that dude. I'm better than that guy. I'm better. Yeah, but he can dance. And she went to dance. She didn't probably didn't even go over there to get picked up by anybody. She just wants to dance. But if you know how to dance and you got game, no, you're single, you got game, you got your car outside. You guys are so like, and that's why I can't take you guys seriously. That's why I set my boundaries of people. If you're a friend of mine and you think that dancing is or knowing how to dance is bad or makes you less of a man, then I might have to rethink just how close I want to associate with you because maybe now I know that that's not something that we can kick it with. Like we can't go and kick it because you're going to be a problem. If we go to a club, I want to dance, you're not going to know how to dance, so you're going to see it as a problem. If all of a sudden, I'm getting attention, I'm getting some type of traction, and you're not. And I might introduce you to a girl, but that girl, if she's there dancing, is going to want to know that you can dance. And if you can't dance, then that right there limits the type of, interactions that we can have. I took dancing lessons from Don Julio y Jose Cuervo, guarantee. Hey, sometimes you just start with tapping your feet. I'm off work the next 3 nights. What's popping tonight? Hey, what's up, peaceful? Hey, look, man, I'm almost off. I'll be off in a few minutes, but I started early today, so I'll be off in a few minutes. I want to take my dog out for a walk, just spend some time before the Lives with ET. Remember battle boxes tomorrow, guys. Stay tuned for that. If you haven't already subscribed, please subscribe to the battle boxes. They challenged me. We'll see if that challenge goes through. That's right, Machete, Peaceful, Jay Slaughter. Yeah, man, look. So going back to boundaries. Like that's the type of mental boundary that will keep you from enjoying life. Imagine that your view on dancing is so retrograde that you limit yourself from enjoying an activity that might even come to your benefit. Frankie and gang, what's up, Iron Man? Nice to see you. Hell yeah, that's right, Sasquatch. And that's why I always say sometimes we rob ourselves of situations, of experiences, good opportunities, because we're limited. You choose to be limited. I don't. I don't choose that. If anything, and I'm going to say once again, I'm a student. I'm still learning at my 49 years of age, almost 50. And I will continue to adopt and adapt what I learn. Always. That's how I stay young. That's how my mind stays young. And I'm not saying young the way Skittles wants to look young and dress up as though he's a fucking teenager. No, I'm not immature. No, I'm an adult. I'm a man. I'm a grown up. But when I say young, I mean, you know, just have quick reflexes. My thoughts have to be quick. My reaction time, the way I move, the way I act has to be quick. It has to be at the same level and energy as when I was young, because that's the whole point of maturing and growing. And if you want longevity and if you want to be effective in your life choices and what you do, you truly need to sharpen and own these skills as much as you can. It's not my fault that you don't do it, and I do. But don't fucking criticize me, bitch, or try to downplay me just because I do it. That's your fault, not mine. You're limiting yourself. That's a boundary. That's a wrong boundary to place. That's why when we started this, I said, It's important to set boundaries, but you also have to know which boundaries are keeping you from expanding and growing and learning and living life to a higher degree. I enjoy the life I'm living. I truly feel like right now I'm living my best life, but because I learned to set certain boundaries, I learned to have standards for myself. No, these are all things that I've learned in the last, what, 10, 15 years. No, because even though I've been out for the first few years, it was all about work. It was learning about work. It was learning about being a professional. I was learning those things, and then I was able to start developing those things within myself that I needed to work on. Maybe it should have been the other way around. But, I got to having a family. I got to having children and being a husband and being a provider. So a lot of things were on the go. I learned a lot of things on the go. But those things that I already knew, I obviously used to my advantage. And that's what you're supposed to do. Like, you guys are dumb. Like, to point out and to criticize people that are talented and know how to do certain things just because you don't know, you try to ridicule them. Motherfucker, that's not gonna do shit to me. You can try to ridicule me about the things I know. It's just gonna make me laugh at you. Because if to you, the fact that I've got these skills and I put them to practice makes you want to call me out of my name, it offends you, it affects you, that tells me that you're bound by a bunch of insecurities. You have put too many boundaries around you. Your insecurities are your boundaries. And that's why you don't grow. That's why you can't express yourself. That's why you have a hard time being who you really are. And that's why you come over here and you fantasize about my buttery chesticles, buttery smooth chesticles. And you have to make images about me. And they have to be sick and they have to be depraved. Because when you see me, it's like, I cannot believe that he's living the life that he says he is. But that's your problem, bitch. You've limited yourself, you've set up boundaries to not want to learn. We could have had conversations. A lot of you trolls could have easily had conversations with me, but you chose to be trolls. You chose that path, and now I'm not interested. And none of us are. Once you decide to be a troll, fuck you and what you're going through. Because I know you're going to come with falsehoods, and you're never, ever going to own up to your bullshit. You know? And that's why I set up my boundary when it comes to trolls. Once you say you're a troll, I feel no need to respect any of what you say or what you do because you have classified yourself as someone that deserves no respect or credibility. That is something that you set up. You set up that standard. Your standard is that of a troll, and that standard is extremely low. As to where I set my standards up as a father, as a husband, as a leader, as a teacher, and those are all of the things that you love to criticize about me. Those are all of those things that you love to ridicule about me because you know that's how I live. And you ridiculing me about those things isn't going to stop me from living how I live or from being who I am. And the same goes with every single one of the people that make up the Exposed Tube revolution. Now, if there are people that allow themselves to be seduced by your ignorance and your stupidity and your depravity, then that's on them. Oh, well. All I know is that I laugh at you motherfuckers because you guys are sick in the head and ignorant. What's up, Squatch? That's right, Machete. Hope you're having a good day. But anyways, Thumpin' Thursday, Talking Papas live with Frank Ticas dropping knowledge. Hey, we've been dropping knowledge, man. We've been dropping knowledge, and we had them trolls all in a flutter with their panties in a bunch, jumping in, trying to talk your shit. You guys know how it is. It's a common occurrence now. It's a common occurrence. But that's it's part of the it comes with the territory. It's part of the landscape, and we just do what we continue to do. Yeah, I'm gonna set up boundaries. If you're disrespectful in the chat, if you're making threats, if you're doing all of that, you're gonna get timed out. You're gonna get timed out. I've blocked people in my life, like family members that are blocked because I'm really real about setting boundaries and about respect. Like if you show me disrespect, why do I want to continue associating myself with you? And there's no need for me to listen to you. Why would I listen to you if you don't respect me? It doesn't make sense. Like there's no conversation to be had with people that have no respect for you, and vice versa. If you don't respect people, what are you going to have a conversation about if it's not just to talk shit? Like if I don't respect someone, I just ignore them, I avoid them altogether. No, if you've already shown me disrespect, like there's no point in having any conversations. I let you guys jump on the live just, to hear you and ridicule you. Because what it does when you guys jump on or you leave your little fucking comments, like we just saw, it exposes your depravity, it exposes your ignorance, and I'm all for that. That's why we're the exposed to, bitch. You if you come on my channel and you want to jump on the live and you want to talk, and through that conversation you expose how stupid you are, I'm doing my job, bitch. Straight. You're making my job easy because I don't have to go out there and make content. You put yourself in my content. Talking stupidity, talking papas, talking papas. That's why it's talking papas with Frank Ticas dropping knowledge. Because you fools like to love to come here in here talking papas, boy. Man. You guys think you know who Jay Slaughter is. You guys think you know who I am. You guys think you know who Mags is. You guys think you know who Taco is. You guys think you know who Hangman, Miss Yaya. You guys think you know who Papa. You don't know. You deal in lies. That's why we set up boundaries. And that's why it's important to set up boundaries. It's sometimes it's just out of having peace of mind. I enjoy my peace of mind. I enjoy the times I can spend alone just meditating, praying to God. Like I also enjoy the times that I'm with my family chilling. I don't let none of your fucking bullshit narratives affect you. That's the boundary I've already set up mentally. Like I don't even have to tell you guys. Like, don't talk about me this way. No, I know what you're gonna do. You're gonna put out your content. I'm just gonna ignore you because that's my standard. I set that standard here. It has to be honest. If your shit is not honest, if your shit is lies, the parameter, or you're not going to be able to get through the wall. I've set that standard up too high for your lies to affect, for your bullshit narratives to have any impact. That's what we're talking about here. Standards and boundaries. And you guys are constantly disrespecting both. And then you get mad, you get upset because we time you out. Bitch, I don't want to fucking hear your shit. I don't want to see your shit. I don't want to read your shit. It's like it's stupid, it's repetitive, it's fucking boring, it's ignorant, it's insulting. And the fact that you guys think that that's going to like cause something in us, it's like it's insulting to our intelligence. Once again, if you own a restaurant and people are coming in and out of your restaurant and the dog comes by and takes a shit at the door of your restaurant, you're going to clean that shit up. You're going to remove it. You're not going to leave it there. Just because the animal lovers are going to be like, oh, wow, why are you removing that dog's doo-doo from there? Are you against animals? Nah, bitch. It's a fucking piece of shit. Why do I want a piece of shit at the front door? Well, that's how I take your comments. Why do I want those pieces of shit in my comment section? Then if you're acting like a piece of shit, why do I want you in my comment section? I'm gonna fucking remove you like I would remove a piece of shit that's at my front door of my business. Because I've got people in transit and they don't need to see that shit. Straight up. It's plain and simple. I set boundaries, motherfucker. That's straight up. Every day's a good day for this kid. Hope all is well with you, big guy. Hey, same for you, man. Same for you, and peaceful and everything. Internet trolls get the same treatment as spam calls. Ignore them. Yeah, bro. Yeah, bro. That's exactly what it is. What the fuck? Hold on. I don't know what happened here. Yeah, man. But you have to set boundaries. And you have to show your children how to set boundaries, but you also have to be careful and respectful of the boundaries that they set, unless those boundaries that they've set keep you from keeping them safe, right? And anything that has to do with keeping people safe may require that you overstep a boundary, right? But we need to understand that the intention of what it is that we're trying to do matters, right? It matters. You know, it's sort of like you don't break into people's homes. That's fucking criminal. Maybe you did it when you were a criminal. Don't stop doing that shit. Stop. I don't condone none of it. I don't condone criminality. You got to stop it. I mean, if you're already living that life, hey man, I pray that you find a way out. No, I pray you find a way out of a life of crime because crime does not pay. You guys already know that. Okay. You're not going to break into people's houses. You should not be breaking into people's houses or their cars or whatever. But if there's a welfare check, there's someone that, hasn't been accounted for, the last time they heard of them, they were at home. You might have to break into the house to figure out if this person is okay. See, that is understandable. Or maybe you have to break into somebody's car because they're fucking having an attack. That is understandable. There are moments in which you might have to overstep some boundaries if what you're trying to do is get someone help. No, the same goes once again to people that are facing addiction and maybe you have to have an intervention. You might have to overstep the boundary of respect. Like, I don't want to talk about it. Well, we're going to have to fucking talk about it, bitch. Because you're going through it. You're putting us all through it. We see destruction up ahead. We see what's going to happen. We need you to stop because we love you. We're overstepping certain boundaries, and we're going to fucking commit you to a psychologist. You might have to go to rehab by force. And I'm overstepping a bunch of boundaries, like even keeping you from being able to make your own decision in this situation. Sometimes you have to overstep boundaries and decide for other people because you know it's the best for them. But obviously, there has to be a measure. There has to be, it can't be abusive. It can't be because you're trying to get some kind of power or some kind of authority or some kind of leverage out of this. Because I've met people that have taken care of other people, but they only do it because they're getting a check. And they're not really taking care of the other person. They're kind of just doing the bare minimum. I've seen that too. Them caregivers. There are some fucked up caregivers out there. And putting a camera in someone's room that's receiving care is a fucking boundary. It's a standard. Because you expect this person that's taking care of, whether it's an elderly person in your home or senile or it's children, the most vulnerable. There's a certain standard that you have for these people. But maybe, just maybe, you don't, you want to put a camera in there. That's your boundary. Like, we need to understand that these things are important, and that when we make decisions to set up boundaries, to set up standards, we truly do it intellectually, intelligently. We take the time to analyze and weigh the costs and weigh the outcomes and weigh the response time and all of these things when we're setting up boundaries. Like, how long before I take offense to your bullshit? I have to set that up. Sort of like how you set up an alarm on your clock. Like maybe you set it up at this time knowing that you'll probably stay in bed a few minutes longer. Like you're going to hear the alarm, you're going to turn it off, maybe you'll hit the snooze. And you know, and you hit like you program the snooze to be 10 minutes instead of 5 minutes, but you know that when that snooze is over, you know that's when you get up. That's a standard. You set up a standard for yourself. No, well, the same thing has to happen emotionally. Like, at what point is the alarm going to go off that I should not be allowing this person to overstep my boundaries? And that is a standard. And it's important to understand that everyone's going to have different boundaries, everyone's going to have different standards, and we need to respect that. But once you start trying to create a relationship, whether it's an emotional, like, boyfriend girlfriend type relationship that will end up, or will lead to possible marriage, whether it's a working relationship where, maybe you're already at work with people, it's not your company, it's not their company, you both are employees. Maybe you don't like certain things about this person, maybe you have a preconceived notion about the type of person they are, but you have to form a partnership in order to work together. You may have to talk some shit out, and you set boundaries and you set standards that you both have to respect. I just had to set a boundary with a fool at work. He would talk and talk to me, complaining about everything nonstop. I would listen, but you give a fool an inch. I felt bad, but I can't. Yeah, you have. Exactly, bro, because sometimes that'll stress you out. Like, I don't need your stress. I'm already going through all of this. Now, if we have a conversation, we could talk about what you're going through and we'll have that conversation. But after that, fool, like, I don't want to keep hearing it. Because maybe in my mind you should have already resolved it. It's like, maybe you're putting on, maybe you're putting too much tapatio on your tacos and you just want to continue complaining about this to have some kind of leverage, to get some kind of pity, to get some kind of action, because some people love drama and conflict, and they love to use it to their advantage. That happens too, peaceful. Had to cut that shit off. Bad for my mental health. Exactly. That's why you set up boundaries. Once again, I love my inner peace. I love the times that I can spend alone just with my thoughts. Man, I'm cool. And when I discovered that we're able to do that, man, I took advantage of it because when I was young, I didn't know. Had I known, shit, so many, I would have been able to maneuver through life a lot better. You know? But I learned later in life, and that's okay. I'm just glad that I have learned. No, so if you're out there dealing with shit, realize you can set up boundaries. Like, you don't have to accept whatever someone's doing just because you work with them or because they're family. No, you gotta let them know, like, biz, I don't like that. I don't like it. I remember there was this girl, and she was a friend of mine, curly haired girl. Okay, we were in elementary, but she was a friend. Like, we were really good friends. And I remember she had like these curls that would come down, and I would like, you know, and she would be like, she never said anything. I remember I did that maybe like 2, 3 times, and then the fourth time, she turned around, she told me, "I don't like when people do that. I know I've let you because we're friends, but I don't want. Please don't do that. I don't like you touching my hair." Like, fuck. I took it the wrong way at the moment because sometimes we don't like it when people tell us, "Hey, man, don't overstep your fucking boundaries." Sometimes we don't like it. Sometimes we take it personal. You know. But I don't know why she didn't like it, but I had to respect it. And to be honest, now I understand that we should always respect boundaries. We should respect people's personal space. But when I was a kid, I was like, we were like 9 years old. You're still learning, you're still testing out the limits of what you're able to get away with and what you're not able to get away with. That's why you have to be very quick about setting boundaries, setting standards early on in life. Now, those may change. They may change as life goes on, as you get stronger in certain areas of your life. Maybe you get stronger emotionally. You're a lot smarter, emotionally. You can control your anger better. You have a job. So now the economic aspect is no longer a problem. Like once you start growing and learning and developing and becoming, more what wise, becoming wiser, then even the boundaries that you set, at least in my case, I don't, I set boundaries when it's like out of hand, like straight up disrespectful. But when it's just like normal shit, like I don't care. Like even if people are talking shit about me, like I could work with people or around people that I know are fucking talking shit about me and trying to throw me under the bus. I can do that. I can do that because I don't let that affect me. I continue doing my work. I always do my best to my fullest capacity. That's why I always get great opportunities in every job that I've been in. I'm always considered for a promotion because I respect boundaries and I set boundaries and I set standards and I'm very professional in my dealings with people because that's all it is. Work is work, and we need to learn to separate our feelings and our emotions, and meeting people at work. We have to set boundaries there too. You know? And like Sasquatch said, and like I've been telling you guys, it's for your own good. It's for your own peace of mind. Is you if you overstep a boundary or you let others overstep your boundaries, it creates situations in which you're always going to be thinking, man, I don't want to say this because I already know que fulanito de tal, so and so is going to talk about it, or they're going to make a comment about it, and it bothers me. But I haven't fucking told them to stop yet. I haven't fucking put up that boundary. So until you set that boundary up, that person is going to constantly do that shit that you don't like for them to do, and you're going to have to continue dealing with it until you set up a boundary. And like I said, you can set up a boundary, and that person may choose to tell you, you know what, fuck your boundary. But then you know what energy they're coming on, and you just take the next steps that you got to take. Because that's a reality too. You can tell someone, like, hey, man, I don't like you doing this. Well, so I don't give a fuck what you think. I'm going to continue doing it. It's like I told the trolls. Like, you try to tell me, like, set up your, like, hey, you got to stop this. You got to do this. You're only doing it. Man, bitch, you're not going to set boundaries on me. Those are the boundaries that I will not accept because they concern me. You're trying to overpower me. You're trying to impose your shit on me. Man, fuck your shit. But I'm not going to impose my thoughts and my opinions on you. That's the difference. That's the difference. So, yeah, that was pretty much it. I wanted to come out here and talk to you guys to not be afraid of taking action if those limits are surpassed. Sup, Frank? That's right, man. Telling it like it is. That's right, Johnny G. No, don't be afraid to put someone on blast, man. If someone, if you've already told somebody once, you've told them twice in private. Okay, you've tried to get at them that way. Then you try to get somebody else involved, sort of like proof, right? Like, hey, man, look, I'm gonna go talk to this fool. Can you come with me, man? I just want you to fucking listen and make sure that I don't get out of bounds. But if that fool gets out of bounds, I want someone to be a witness to that shit. And if even after that they continue, then don't be afraid of calling them out or taking whatever action you need to take. That's fucking biblical. That's why when these fools talk about, oh, Frank, it's at people a certain way, man, I will always seek conversation first. I will always seek the opportunity to tell you, you know what, I don't like this shit, and set the boundary and set the respect. Now, if you continue to act trifling, like on Tuesday, and I've already spoken to you a couple of times, try to do it in private, man to man or woman to man or whatever it is, adult to adult. But you decided to take that personal, to take offense to me trying to clear shit up, and you continue, I'll try it again. I might try again. But after that, I'll be like, fuck that shit, and I'll make it public. And that's why when you trolls come in here talking all your shit, I put your comment up there in public, and I'll clown you in public. I don't give a fuck. Because you chose that route. You chose to be a troll. You will be treated as a troll. Anybody that has an issue can always get at me. You don't have to agree with everything that I say. Look at you, Mateo just jumped on and said, I don't agree with that. I was like, all right, cool. Why? But at least let me know why. And she let me know why. And I understood her point of view. And it's compatible. It's compatible with what I'm saying. It's just that every scenario is different. But we have to understand that there are certain parameters that are just gospel in everything. No, if don't intrude. That should be number one. Don't intrude. If you're not being invited into a conversation, man, if you're gonna eavesdrop, fucking eavesdrop, but don't try to get involved in it. Respect the boundaries. If someone tells you, look, man, don't call me that. Call me by my name. Fuck it. Respect it. Like what's it gonna take away from you to call someone the way they want to be called? What's it going to do to you? What's it going to take away from you? The fact that you would take something personal, like, if someone were to tell you, man, you know what? I don't want you to call me um, Googleplex. I want you to call me Twinkie. Why are you going to take offense to that? Call the man Twinkie. If that's what he wants to be called, like, why is it going to bother you? It's not going to change you. It's not going to change your personal preferences by letting somebody, calling someone the way they want to be called. It's not going to do anything to you. It's called respect. Just like me, like, if you don't like to be called a certain thing, maybe you like to be called your name to be called a certain way, and you tell someone, maybe your name is Rodrigo, and you don't like people to call you Rodrigo. So you're like, you know what? I prefer you just call me Rigo. Rigo. Hey, I'll call you Rigo. Shit. All right. What's up, Rigo? Why would that be a problem? Like we have to learn to respect these things. It's not going to make you or break you to respect if someone tells you, look, just call me this way, right? That's some real shit right there. Setting boundaries is key. Holding your ground once your boundaries. Look at this idiot. You didn't respect boundaries. That's why you got deported. Motherfucker, don't I always talk about consequences, bitch? You guys are stupid. See, that's why. That's why when I saw you rednecks and your moves, if you're the real rednecks or one of the many, and all you other fools, when you started moving funny, that's why I called you out. And I called you out. I called you out. Now, if other people followed suit, it's because they saw how you move. They saw you guys. They're like, wait a minute. You know? It had nothing to do with me. You didn't respect boundaries. Bitch, didn't I say that I fucking learned from my experiences? Like, what is this comment even supposed to be doing, rednecks? Like, what do you think you accomplished with this comment? When obviously my whole channel is about second opportunities, third opportunities. Do you still not like? That's how dumb you guys look, man. Nudiplex obviously never looks in the mirror because he's the fruitiest bastard ever. Like, for you guys not to understand, not being able, and I know you understand, you're just a fucking troll. See, and that's why I don't take you fuckers serious. That's why we set boundaries on you bitches. That's why. That's why we time you out. And it's not the same as blocking, bitch. We just time you out. Because we don't need to continue reading this bullshit. You respect, bitch. You sound stupid. Like I've been very blunt about why I'm here, like how I made it down here. I've been very blunt. I've been very transparent. Like, what are you trying to say? Rednecks reported. to, yeah, man. But yeah, and that is why, don't let these trolls get to you. Oh wow, now you're blocking. You guys are going against your mission statement. No, we're not, bitch, because you're getting timed out. If you came respectfully, if you spoke, even if you have disdain, even if you don't like me, but fuck, you come respectfully. Hey, I gotta ask the question, a very, trollish question, but it was respectful. I answered and I put it up there, and I'll have that conversation with you. Just like when you idiots jumped on my live and you just made yourself look like idiots. You know? But the boundaries are that once you start disrespecting women, once you start insulting, once you stop making threats, or you start making threats, you're gonna get timed out. That is the boundary, that is my standard. It is what it is. A lot of people got offended by that standard. I don't give a fuck. You know? The reality is that a lot of people like to act as though insults and shit don't affect them, and they truly do affect them. They want to act hard, but then they get all in their emotions and they make wrong decisions. They start acting dumb because they truly, truly, truly are being affected by insults. And because I can understand that, I don't expect everyone to be as tough skinned as I am. I don't expect people to be, because everybody comes from a different lived experience, and there are traumas that may be triggered by some of the bullshit that you fuckers do. That's why we time you out. That is my boundary. That is my standard, and that's how it's going to be till the end of time. Straight up. There's a family member that I did not let come to my pad for years, because all they did was talk about certain shit. And I was not going to have that type of conversation at my house with my kids around. You could be cool, we could get along, whatever, we could be family. But if you can't respect my kids, my family, you're going to be talking about just bullshit. Maybe you shouldn't come over. That's my standard. That's my boundary. And if you take offense to it, then you obviously weren't a friend of mine. Because why would you take offense if I'm telling you, you know what, this bothers me and this makes me feel a certain way? Why would you take offense to it if you're a friend? It doesn't make sense to me. I think friends should be able to say, you know what, I didn't like that. Really? Okay, you know what, Spencer, dispenser, you know, I'm not going to do it again because you're my friend and I want you to feel comfortable around me. You have to set fucking boundaries and you have to respect boundaries. You have to create standards and you have to respect standards. But don't impose those on other people. Those are for you. Those are for you. That's how you are going to measure your relationships. That's how you're going to treat people. That's how you're going to allow people to treat you. Those measures are for you. Just because it works for you does not mean it's going to work for your neighbor. And now just because your religion works for you doesn't mean that that's going to work for your neighbor. So you're going to be over there, hey man, this is working for me. You got to do it. What do you mean you're not going to do it? You have to. No, you don't, bitch. That works for you. It may not work for me. That's why when I talk about my faith and the relationship that I have with God and how I deal with others based on that fact, that is me. I'm not imposing that on anybody. But I will let you know that that's how I think because, I'm sharing, bitch. I'm sharing. I'm sharing my point of view. I'm sharing my thoughts. That I'm not limited. I don't put a boundary around the things that I share, around the different points of view or knowledge that I drop. I don't put boundaries on that. You try to put boundaries on it with your bullshit, with your fucking narratives. But I'm not going to stop. We won't stop. We move ever forward. Shout out to everybody that was in the live with me, that jumped on the chat, that was listening, that was lurking. If you didn't hit the like, please hit the like. If you haven't subscribed, please do so. Okay, we're going to come put this to an end. Once again, thank you so much for those of you that are subscribed to my channel, that continue to support, that continue to listen. Once again, if you have a difference of opinion, put it out there. We can talk about it, and I'm respectful. Just don't impose your thoughts and your views on me, because I won't do the same to you, and we'll be fine. That's what respect is all about. Respect. It's good to have empathy, but it's always good to set boundaries and to have standards. Thumpin Thursday, Talking Papas live with Frank Ticas dropping knowledge has come to an end. Thank you guys so much. We'll continue tomorrow because we're gonna be doing these daily, as long as I can, as long as health and obviously God permits. Hope everyone has an excellent rest of the day. It's almost the end of the week. Battle boxes tomorrow. If you haven't already signed up, if you haven't already subscribed, please do so. And until next time,